Being mindful of everyone's time. We just hit 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. on the Eastern time. So thank you all for jumping on. My name is David Salaya. I'm one of the vice presidents here for Realty Executives International. And we kicked off this new Exec Spotlight series back in March. So we've just had a couple of classes, a couple spotlights here in the year 2021. But the idea is we've got this amazing Realty Executives Network. And it would be wise for us to tap into the most valuable, piece of the network, which is the community, right? The community that we've built, from executives to brokers to the great minds across all over the US and Canada and even international. Bring those minds to the table and talk about what's working in different areas and in different people's business. And so that's what we're here today. I am joined by the great Matthew De Fede in the New Jersey area, Nutley, New Jersey specific. But here's what I like to do, Matthew. I like to just dive right into it. I'm going to pass it to you just to kick it off and kind of set the stage. Give us a little bit about kind of your experience in the business. I know now you're broker owner of your own brokerage, but kind of take us through that journey of how you got in the business and being an agent and then now owning your own company, and give us maybe a quick 5-minute little breakdown of what that looks like, and then we can get into some of the other good stuff there.
Sure. Thank you for inviting me here.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess I'll start, and I'll make it short and brief if I can. I was a creative director and art director for about 29 years in the business, and I started part-time back in the early 2000s, and I just kind of started as an investor, started as doing 1 or 2 deals a year, and then slowly but surely my design career kind of winded down. I retired from it, and I decided to go full-blown, open up an office. But I was with I was with 2 other brokerages before that. I was with KW back when nobody knew who KW was, and I was with Coldwell Banker for a good decade. When I decided to open up my office, I had an idea. My idea was to run my office like an ad agency, and that's what we do. Our only product we sell is other people's homes, and all my agents, executives are account reps. So that's kind of what we model. We're very big into creative. We're very big in digital. I opened up the office, got to be going on 7 years now. And I remember when I first flew out and met David for the first time and learned more about the company, and the company was going through a transition then. And what they promised me, they delivered in a year or two. And it was, something that we didn't have before when I first signed on. Stronger brand, stronger leadership, better direction, a system built from the ground up with our own developers. That was important to me. And we spent the first 3 or 4 years battling entrenched brokerages in my town. I mean, we were the new kid on the block in 2014, and I was battling against Coldwell Banker, who was there for 30 plus years, Century 21 there for 30 plus years, a Remax that was open for a good 8-9 years already, and I had another company that was there for 60 plus years. So we battled those brokerages. The first 4 years were basically what I call a war, because we were struggling. We were battling for every rental, every lead, every piece of business we could get. And, we really started building out our online presence. We started building our content and our media. And in the beginning, the other brokerages were kind of just, they kind of scoffed at us. They kind of laughed at what we did. They didn't understand why we were doing YouTube or using Facebook to market ourselves. And then, I guess the turning point was maybe about 2018, 2019, where we started to garner different clientele and bigger listings and become more prominent in the town. And I'd like to say after 7 years, we built probably one of the strongest brands in town. And I would say we're the top company in town. And we have, right now, we don't have a massive agent pool. We have about 18 agents right now. The biggest office in town has about 36 agents. My biggest competitor is outside of town, and they're at 200-300 agents. They're a big KW office. But it's a very fierce, very competitive town. And we built a nice, solid brand. And we did it, with a mix of things. Of course, we have the Prime Agent Suite that we all utilize. We have social, which we're very big on, video, which we're very big on. But we also took some of the conventional things, like we still use direct mail. We do some local print magazines or local publications, because I really believe in being hyper-local focused when it comes to marketing. And, we do use retargeting programs, and we're experimenting now with what we call them mini burst open houses. Now, and what I mean by that is we'll do open houses for 30 minutes at a clip. That's it. But what we'll do is we'll make sure we market it well and we'll promote it well. And outside of the house, we make it a spectacle.
So let's do this really quick, Matthew, because I love that idea really quick. So I think one of the greatest pieces of this Exec Spotlight series is everyone walks away with that 1, 2, or 3 things that they say, I love all the different ideas that you said, but here's the 1 or 2, 3 things that I walked away with, because everyone runs their business a little bit differently. So
Yeah.
This first idea, and you've mentioned quite a few, and I want to kind of peel that back and dive into some of these, but this open house idea of this 30-minute segment, let's kind of talk a little bit about that, because I know a lot of folks, we know traditional open houses, but I think there's a huge leverage to be able to take an open house and then advertise that on social media. And it sounds like you really kind of, pushed the boundaries on this. So I want to learn a little bit more about it, on how it works from kind of A to Z. And if we could just spend like maybe 5 minutes on that, that way we can kind of move on, on to the next one.
But the one thing that we're doing that other brokerages are not doing is we do open houses on our rentals.
Okay.
And we had one the other day, the first one that we did, we got 75 people through the door within a matter of 30 minutes. So within a matter of 30 minutes, we exposed our brand to 75 people. People on the block wanted to know what was going on because they saw a line outside the door. And my agent handed his business card to 75 people.
Wow.
And we got the place rented. And it cost us not that much to put together.
Right. Well, and I bet out of that, you also got buyer prospects out of that.
Correct. Buyer and seller prospects.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something to be said about awareness. So as far as advertising, I'll tell you a couple of different things we do. I usually like to get my open house in the system by Thursday on the MLS. And the second thing we do is we post it on social. And when I post it on social, it goes across every agent's social platform: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. If we have time to do it, we'll do an open house video as well. The other thing we do is we put it on Facebook events. We put it on Facebook events page, and we run an event, and we share it out there. And then we email it to our whole database of clients. And then we run an ad. We have a website out here called The Patch. I don't know if they have it out there, but we have the Nutley Patch, and you run an event on the Nutley Patch, and I run it out to different areas. And since my area is 12 miles from New York City, I run it on the New York Patch as well, because I'm pulling clients in from that city. And then the other thing we like to do also is if we're doing open houses, we do coming soon open houses. So we'll put signs, open house Saturday or Sunday, usually by Thursday, especially if it's a high traffic area. And then we put minimum 30 signs out. 30 signs directing throughout all the major thoroughfares. It's easy in my town because we're only 3 square miles. So, and the comments I get from owners were like, wow, I saw you did the open house, man, your signs are everywhere.
You're speaking my language, man. When I first got in the business, so for those who know a little bit about me, when I got in the business back in 2008, when I got licensed, that was how I started my business, right? Is I had 30, 50 signs up in the area. And now I know area to area, there's restrictions on what you can and can't do. But in certain areas, I was allowed to put 30 to 50 signs, and I would reach to all the major intersections and bring them to that house, right? I'd put them early in the morning from 8 to 9 a.m. and I would have an open house from 11 to 3, 11 to 4, but it brought people through the door. Now with digital, you're amplifying that. So you got the physical signs in the area. You're digitally, what are you doing? Recording like a 60-second clip to kind of like a promo video to get it out there? Like,
when we'll go by the house, we'll do a Facebook Live, or we'll do a video, we'll record it, and then we'll just boost that video.
Okay. And then you say, hey guys, come this Sunday. We're going to be here from this time to this time.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How much do you typically spend on your video to boost it? Like $50, $100? What is that?
Sometimes it's just for, the weekend, $20, $25.
Okay.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And
you're doing this for both your rental listings and your listing for sale. Okay.
Correct. I think For me, I know a lot of agents think a different way. They look at the dollar amount, what they're going to make on it. I look at it how much brand equity I can build.
Okay.
That's I look at brand awareness and brand equity. If I'm doing a small open house and I have 75 people coming through, that may not be dollar amounts on that rental, but it's brand equity and brand awareness.
Well, and you're building relationships with people you don't know, right? So
Correct.
especially for newer agents in the business, I think that's always the hard part is like, how do I get in front of people, right? You can go to the grocery store, you can shake some hands there, but like, how do you get an environment where it's real estate related and the mindset is, I'm here to learn about real estate? And so that, I love that idea of being able to do that. And for those who may not have a property management company, maybe it is partnering with a property management company where you can host an open house and do something of that nature. But I love that idea. So we've got a lot of ideas flowing through here, Matthew. You got, and this is all around open house. So we've got physical signs, 30 to 50. We're not only doing it on for sales, but we're doing it on rental listings if you have access to those. We're then doing a live little Facebook live video that you then boost and you post it maybe on a Thursday if you have an open house on Sunday. So you got some lead time. It's not, hey, come to the open house on Sunday. It's like you've got some time of building some momentum to get people there.
That is
so
correct.
All these things are connecting. You're connecting with all the agents and all the clientele that you're already connected with on Facebook and all the social channels. So it's a big buildup to this event.
Yes. Yeah, we and the other thing, if we have time also, we use a 10-10 method where we go door knock 10 homes on one side of the street and door knock 10 homes on the other, 5 and 5 and 10. Okay. And we go and invite neighbors to the open houses. And we've actually have gotten listings that way because neighbors, we meet them, oh, wow. And then they come by the house and we talk to them and then they start the conversation. We were thinking about putting our house on the market. And okay, I'll come by and see it.
So I think that's because that's always the hard question right now, right? Is listings. And it's always, how do I get more listings? But it's been amplified in the last year with, everything that's going on. And just the supply, right? So when we talk about listings, that is an idea, right? That's, hey, you got your open house, do some door knocking around the neighborhood. What are some other things that you're doing to attract listings, attract sellers?
Well, I run a pretty intensive outdoor campaign within the area. I kind of encircle my town. I have some outdoor billboards I run. I have bus stop billboards I run. Again, it's all about brand awareness, and people notice. Mm-hmm. People notice when you're doing. It's all a combination of things. They all work together. Not just one thing works. So if we're doing direct mail piece to the neighborhood, we're doing weekly publications that goes to every house in town. We're doing the billboards. We're doing the bus stops. We're doing the open house, the events, the signs out there. It clicks all together. If you try to do just one, it's hard to get that traction and get that momentum. Then the big thing is, like when we list a property, here's another way we get listings. There's 3 different phases of marketing when I get a listing. There's before, during, and after. After's a big lead magnet for home sellers because then you could build social proof on that. Like just sold X amount of dollars, this amount of time, and I require every agent to do a just sold direct mail piece around every piece they sell or every home that they sell. So we do direct mail 2 times, just listed, just sold. So social proof, we will run a social proof ad on Facebook and I'll do it for $1 a day for 30 days. Mm-hmm. And if a home sells in that neighborhood, I'm going to run that ad for 30 days, $1 a day. And social proof is a big way. And then I make sure I go and get reviews from my clients, only the happy ones. I make sure I get reviews, and that goes also on our Google My Business page, which is big. We run Google PPC and Google local ads as well. Okay. So we're doing a lot. We got a bunch of different plates that we're spinning, and they all kind of work together.
So going back to that social proof really quick, $1 a day. If we can just simplify that for everyone. So basically you sell a property and obviously you got the just sold postcards going out in the neighborhood. But what does that look like on digital? Is it an ad that you create and then you post it on social and then you boost it for $1 a day? And then who's the target market that you boost it to? Did I get that part right?
Yeah, Well, it's an ad. I don't create the ad. I have a system that I actually use, and it builds a landing page. And when
Okay.
they click on it, the landing page deposits a cookie in their browser, and now they're retargeted. Now they're part of my retargeting campaign. So
Gotcha.
even if they leave, we're going to retarget them with other content.
Okay. Do you mind
Um,
sharing what that system is?
yeah, it's a system called listings to leads.
Listings to leads. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, and
Okay.
it imports your listings right from the MLS, and it builds all these landing pages and all the creative and all the marketing material you need.
Love it.
So it's kind of akin to like what we have in Prime Agent, but it goes a little
Yeah.
further.
Okay.
So if you could, I run all my Facebook ads through that system. I don't run through the Facebook Ads Manager. I run
Right.
it through listings to leads, and
Okay. So it simplifies it.
yeah, I have content pieces on there as well. Like there's downloads, 12 ways to sell your home quicker, the best way to sell your home. There's all different content. I run ads on content as well, not just listing ads and just sold ads.
Yeah.
So it's a magnet for buyers and sellers, and even people that are going through the short sale or foreclosure process,
Yeah.
which isn't really happening much lately.
Yeah, I think that, and thank you for sharing that, because I think content is always the hardest part for real estate agents to really be creative with that, because and many times that we're just so sales oriented, we want to kind of be with people, right? So the creative part takes time away from being and building relationships. So I like that, having a system that builds content but also simplifies it to get it out there to whatever, social media, whatever it may be. But
Mhm.
simplifying is always my best friend, right? Like,
Yep.
how can we just make things so easy? So for those of you who are like, man, this is a lot to take in, Matthew just shared with us that listings to leads is an opportunity to look at on how to simplify some of that for us.
Yeah, it builds out your landing pages, and it builds out, single property website with lead capture.
Okay,
And then once
very
they get
cool.
in, they're in your database. We've acquired probably 8,000 since January of December. We've got 8,000 names in that database already.
Wow. So I'm taking notes as you're talking, Matthew, because I think there's so many pieces to the puzzle, and I can see where the marketing mindset is coming from, where you are talking about it's never just that one thing. It's a combination of someone seeing you on the billboard and then seeing a direct mail piece come through the mail,
Yep.
and then they see you on Facebook, and then they drive through the neighborhood and they see open house signs.
Yep.
So you're trying to build, like you said, that brand equity, and it
Yep.
can come in many different ways, because
Correct.
I think once you connect the dots more than one time, so instead of someone just seeing you always on social, now they're seeing you here, that starts to really build the influence and be like, man, these guys are professionals. They know what they're doing out here.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about, again, everything to me is about brand equity and building awareness. Like, I just took what I learned from my industry, and I look at some of the great marketers that are out there, like Coca-Cola, Cheeseboro Ponds, people like that. These are people that have brands out there. Like, I look at what Amazon does. I even look at what Zillow does. I look at what Redfin does. I look at what Compass does, Coldwell Banker. I look at all the other competitors as well. And there's a thing, it's called, you probably heard of it before, it's called the reticular activator system in our brains. And it takes so many, let me give you an example. Any ever buy a new car and drive it off the lot?
Hmm.
And when you drive it off the lot, what do you see?
The same car
The
everywhere,
same
right?
car. But before that, you weren't aware of it.
Hmm.
It takes your mind, it takes so many impressions for your mind to be aware of something. And I have a saying with my agents. I always tell them, don't be a Pepsi. And they go, what do you mean? I said, you ever walk into a diner and say, what would you like to drink? Say, I'll have a Coke. We don't have Coke, but would you like Pepsi?
Hmm.
Coca-Cola is a brand, but everybody associates Coca-Cola with cola or soda. If you say the word soda, you think Coca-Cola right away.
Yeah.
That comes over years and years and years of being exposed to that brand. And Pepsi, unfortunately, will never be Coke. Still a good soda, whatever, but will never
Yeah.
be Coke. But
Yeah.
that's how I look at things. I'm building everything and built the office up. And the other brokers in town they have a different mindset. They have the old, you got to call expireds, you got to call for sale by owners. I don't do any of that.
Hmm.
I don't do any of that. I have two pillars that run my business. I have a chase pillar and I have a pull pillar, and they're both marketing pillars. And a lot of the content that I produce is more pull content, which is content marketing. Like I develop stories about my town. I develop stories about the homes. We've got a niche in the market where we're very good at marketing 100, 150-year-old homes in town because we dig into the history of them and we find out who was living there. Was it a prominent person and where they came from? And we build stories around that.
Okay.
And we run that and we use like our Prime Agent blog. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
Prime Agent blog is one of the most powerful tools out there.
Mm-hmm.
I have a blog I wrote 3 years ago called Living in Nutley. And it's still, when you search Living in Nutley, it's
Yeah.
still #1 or #2 organically.
Yeah.
And
I'm a testament to that too. I wrote a blog on our website like 3 years ago on one of these training sessions for living in North Park, in
right,
California, because I live in San Diego. And this is like a hipster area up and coming. And it's still #1. I still get calls on it every once in a while just for people like, hey, I
yeah,
seen your
it's
blog.
evergreen. Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
it's
yeah.
crazy. And to your point, I mean, blogging, if you guys haven't really paid attention to that side of it, it's taking the content you're already producing, putting it in a blog format on your website, and it lives there for perpetuity, basically. Like you post it today, it could take 6 months to a year to gain some traction, but once it's there, anybody searching for that term in the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, you're going to be there at the top. And you plant that one seed and then plant another seed, and you start planting all these seeds for all the different areas that you do business in. It just really starts to kind of unfold
Yeah.
over the years. So
You
thank you
can
for
e-
bringing
you
that
can
up.
even you can even take it down. Like I broke it down even further. Like I took the town of Nutley, and then I broke it down by the different sections of Nutley, like the Spring Garden, Lincoln, Washington, Radcliffe, and Yanticott. Those are the three sections. So I wrote living in Yanticott, living in Radcliffe section of Nutley. I broke it down and used long tail keywords.
Yep.
So I broke it down even further, and I did it by townhome development, like living in Cambridge Heights, living in Arbor Hills, and all this content I put out there. And believe it or not, I've been doing this for a couple of years. A lot of that content still come. People call me looking for the townhome management office
Yeah.
for townhome developments.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
You
it's funny.
become mayor of the town, right? Like we're another
Bingo.
friend of ours, what was it, Alex Nicola out in Valparaiso, Indiana. I mean, this
Yep.
is what he preaches all the time too, is like be the mayor of your town. If there is a new restaurant that's opening, why not go and introduce yourself and say, hey, let's put a quick little video together and let's talk about the excitement around the restaurant. That helps the business owner, and then it helps you, like just because you are now tapping into a sphere of influence that you're already not connected with, because
Right.
they're connected with a different sphere. So the more and more you can get involved with even local businesses around town
Oh yeah.
and introducing yourself.
It's called micro celebrity. So if you can become a micro celebrity in that town,
Hmm.
it's funny, I've had people, we have a pretty strong Instagram account too. I've had agents from other parts of the country call me just to see if I would pick up the phone. And I'm like, why wouldn't I pick up the phone? I don't understand it, but you know, you build a certain amount of celebrity in that town. Because
Yeah.
when I walk into a local restaurant, coffee shop, they know what I do before they know my name. And then another powerful tool I'm going to share with you guys is on Facebook. Facebook groups. You need to start a group about your community and start inviting people. I have a group called the Nutley Pulse, and you're welcome to log on and look at it. I curate it. I watch every post that goes on and approve it. But I have about 3,500 local people in my group.
Wow.
My biggest lead generator is that Facebook group. And I'm letting people and businesses in the town post their content. The ice cream shop, the hairdresser, the makeup person, the landscaper. I let them post stuff on there. The only thing I don't do is allow other realtors to post their content on there.
Smart man. I wonder
Right?
why.
So you got to curate it, and you got to build it. And it's a very simple. You could set up a free group on Facebook, get up a nice graphic wherever you live, put it up there, call it whatever. I called it the Nutley Pulse. You can call it the Georgia Pulse, the Arizona Pulse. I don't care.
Yeah.
but make it local and let people post their content, local businesses, but make sure you approve their content because people will post some strange stuff.
Hmm.
And don't feel bad about deleting some people because you will get that too. But
So I want to share really quick with the folks who are on the call today. So the Nutley Pulse, that's
yep,
Nutley Pulse.
yep, correct.
How else? So on Facebook, they just look up Matthew De Fede.
On Facebook, just go look up the Nutley Pulse.
Okay, just look that up. And then what about your personal Facebook, just so they can get some ideas if they want to look at your social
My
channels?
personal Facebook page is Matthew De Fede. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I have 36 other business pages. I have one for each town.
Okay.
So, and I have groups for each town. Like I have the Nutley Pulse, the Belleville Pulse, the Montclair Pulse, the North Arlington Pulse, the Clifton Pulse. You see, after I saw how the Nutley Pulse took off, I tried doing that with other towns. That's something in the works. But again, the same idea.
Right.
Same
Right.
idea. Especially around elections, I let people go crazy in there. I let them go nut, and when they get out of hand, then I knock them out. But I let them go crazy. I let them do what they want, say what they want, as long as they're not abusing somebody. But if they're for one candidate and not for the other, go ahead, have at
it. Hey, that's got to be a lot of fun looking at that. I don't know how you have time to like manage all those different channels, but that's for another day. We can talk about that. Let's do this. We're at the halfway mark, guys, and I don't intend. It could be an hour. We just kind of like open the conversation. We see where it goes from there. But we do have kind of the time limit set an hour if we need to go to that or if we don't need to. But at this point, what I like to do though, guys, is for those of you who are on, please, if you want to ask a question, you just have to unmute yourself. If you want to just hop in and share some thoughts at this halfway point, I'd love to, have some other folks kind of join the conversation, and then we'll get back to kind of going through some other stuff here. But let's take a minute or two here. So I see quite a few people starting to jump on. Anybody have any questions for Matthew? Come on, don't be shy, guys.
Oh, no questions. Come on, man. This is your business. Ask questions.
Alex, I see Alex on there. He always likes to ask questions. All right. Well, if you guys think of anything, you can always come back to the, just unmute yourself. Let's see.
Hi.
Hey, Annie, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you. I'm a new agent. I've only had my license for about 4 months, but I am on my 3rd contract. And
what? Congratulations. That's awesome.
I'm so excited. I just joined Realty Executives and I'm trying to put myself out there. And I appreciate your views and your knowledge, Matthew. I was just Googling you and reading up on you. So I'm going to be like you. I just, so I heard about the billboards and the buses, and I'm considering just, putting myself out the open houses. And do you recommend that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And what about farming? I have walked and I put flyers on 100 homes, our door hangers. Just went out there by myself and did that. The leads that I have gotten these contracts on there are friends of mine, but so yeah, I'm ready to put myself out there. I'm just writing notes, putting on the billboards or the buses, benches, all the stuff that you talked about. So I appreciate all that. So I was just concerned about the open houses. Not concerned, but just wanting to know a little bit more what you do and provide at these open houses. I'm willing to reach out to the other agents that have the listings and, show their homes for them. So what kind of ideas do you have for me?
In regards to doing the open houses and what to
Yeah,
do?
yeah. Well, besides the signs, but do you have drinks? Do you have vendors with you? I mean,
no.
No?
I don't waste my time with feeding people.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
Go to the house and sell the house.
Okay, that's good.
Again, it depends on the price point and area. Like My area, broker opens don't do very well, but other areas where we work, they do. If we're selling a $2 million home, then, then we will get some catered food or something like that. But more
Oh,
and
okay.
more with like the whole COVID thing, I just stopped making people sign COVID waivers. I still make people come in the house and they have to wear a mask and everything else. We got to look at that. But we're there
Mhm.
to sell the house. So really, we spend more time on attracting people to the house.
Okay.
So we actually have, believe it or not, you ever see those wavy guys who are at auto dealers?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a set of those. And
Oh,
we
I like
actually
that.
we
Uh-huh.
deploy them when we have open houses. And it's a big
Oh.
joke, which we're like, did you get the wavy guy? Yeah, we got the wavy guy. So we have that and the balloons and everything. And then we have sometimes velvet ropes that we have, and we put them out there. And
Mhm.
we just bought a hot dog hut. So it's
Mhm.
a little hot dog hut that
Yeah.
we're having hot dog day at our office, and it's something that stuck with us ever since we opened. We actually put a tent out, we put a table out, we give free hot dogs and stuff out to patrons that are coming by. We have music and balloons, and we create an event out of thin air. We just create like a pop-up event. And
Yeah, I
people
like
come by,
that.
what are you doing? You want a hot dog? Yeah, okay. Who are you? Oh, I live over there. And then well, how's the first question? How's the market? As you're giving them a
Mhm.
hot dog. And
It's a street party.
it sounds corny, but
No, but I like it. It's like a street party.
but it's corny and boring works. You
Yeah.
know, it works. It's just you got to be consistent.
Mhm.
So at the open houses that we do, we really focus on the house. We make sure the outside and the signs are out there. And some of my agents do door knocking. They invite people. They invite them to the open house.
Oh,
Um,
that's true.
you know,
Mhm.
we make it an event. We try to focus on the house, and the catering and all that stuff. We kind of taper that off a bit. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
so
Hey,
I wouldn't spend money on that. I'd rather you spend money on the marketing of the open house.
The
hey, Ma-
signs and stuff. Mhm.
hey, Matthew, if I can ask you something, because with any newer agent getting in the business, I think um, you can spread yourself thin if you try to tackle everything at once. If
Correct.
you were to say, what are the top two things from a marketing standpoint, right? Because we've talked obviously open house is going to be number one, I think, because even when I started mine, that was an easy way to just get in front of people, shake hands, and meet with folks. But we've talked about billboards, we've talked about bus benches, we've talked about Facebook ads and building online groups and community groups. If you were to focus your attention and spend your dollars wisely, and not go spread yourself so thin, what would be those top two things in your mind that would be helpful for a new agent?
That's a good question.
If I was a new agent, I would do as many open houses as I could. And actually, I did. I did one every weekend when I was a new agent. And I would also learn everything you can about the area and walk the neighborhood.
That's what I'm
That's
doing.
what I would do. And there's an old saying: if you don't have time, you have money. If you don't have money, you don't have time, or whatever it was. If you have money, you don't have time. If you have time, you have the money. So you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Open houses are a great way. I remember when I started doing open houses in 2003, and I would do open houses for weeks on end, and I would not get one person in the open house, because the area was
Mhm.
also at that time, markets weren't so great, you know,
Mhm.
and then the
Uh-huh.
downturn happened and everything else. But I sat open houses where I got no people, and then I sat open houses where I got 250 people.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. I was going to tell you, I did do a Facebook Live and I did get a lead off of that. I was a little shy, but I did it. I thought I'm going to put myself out there. I didn't care what my hair looked like or whatever. I just put myself out there. And like I said, I got a lead.
I
That's
think
awesome. That's
I
awesome.
think I think too many agents try to be like, $1 million
Perfect.
listing and wear these beautiful suits and everything. But I think in some markets that backfires because you're not relatable to people. You know,
Hmm.
you have to be relatable to people, and
Yeah.
everything doesn't have to be so polished. I
Yeah.
tell every agent, first thing they do when they walk in my door, You got to sign on and do your DMX training. That's the first thing, because I'm paying for tools you need to learn how to use. Then the second thing I tell them to do is every day, if you want to try this, every day, 2 minutes, get on your phone, record a video, and post it to Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram if you want, but even just put it on Facebook. Do it for 30 days straight. And I'll guarantee you're going to at least get 2 clients out of that. And that's free.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's free. But I think a lot of people, like, I do as many videos as I can. We have a pretty robust YouTube channel. And it's Realty Executives, or I think it's Realty Executives Elite Homes. It's on YouTube. If you search Nutley Real Estate, Nutley Realtor in YouTube, you'll see all our videos. Now, some are better than others. Some are produced, some are not. A majority are just me sitting in front of the camera, you know, talking about something, maybe giving a quick market update. You know, I also have a podcast as well that's been out there since I started. And I intermittently, you know, do 2 or 3 bursts, these micro podcasts also. I produce as much as I can with the limited time that I have.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Annie.
I was gonna say, I don't have any listings. The contracts that I have were for buyers buying homes, but are we allowed to go to our colleagues and go to their listings and promote their listings? Is that crossing the line?
What I'd always say, if I can answer that one first, Matthew, what I'd always say is from area to area, and considering you're with your local broker, I'd always definitely check with your local broker first to kind of
Yeah, I would do that.
But what we typically see is if you get permission from the listing agent, you can do things like help them host the open house, do some marketing flyers and postcards with your photo on there, but you have to always give credit to the listing agent. So there are some ways about it, but always first and foremost is kind of check with your local broker and then check with the listing agents who you are looking to partner up with.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because in my office, from day one, I tell everybody, if I get a listing, this one gets a listing, or another agent gets a listing, we're all allowed to use it and promote it. Period. Because we all work together.
Yeah.
So I have, you know, a team now of 18. We all work together.
Yeah.
So if I get a listing, they're allowed to use it.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them, take my listing, use it, put it on Facebook, do what you want with it. Just don't demean it or degrade it in any way.
Right.
But use it, and pull leads from it.
Okay.
You know? And when you have 18 people doing that across their social media, across their Facebook and Instagram, it takes one listing and it looks like 20 listings.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, Annie, thank you so much. These are all great questions. I love the conversation, and I just want to make sure we're mindful. Anyone else have any other questions or would like to contribute to the conversation here? Love to open it up, guys. This is awesome. This is good stuff. See, this is where we really start talking about, you know, getting into the trenches of the business, right? And I think that's, you know, these conversations are most helpful. I love kind of the typical trainings where we go through, you know, here's how to do this, this, and that. But at the same time, you need to supplement it with the live conversations. And while we're waiting, you guys can chat, you can jump in. But Matthew, tell us a little bit about your market in Nutley, New Jersey, because for folks, look, this is another opportunity to also network, right? Networking is so important. So Matthew's out in Nutley, New Jersey, close to New York. If you have clients who are looking to kind of move that way, you might want to, you know, call Matthew, and then vice versa. We have folks all across the US and Canada who are on this call today. But Matthew, give us a little snapshot of what the Nutley, New Jersey market looks like right now.
Sure. Nutley is comprised, again, it's 3 square miles. We got 36,000 residents, 12,000 homes. Out of the 12,000 homes at this present moment, I only have 178 on the market.
Wow.
Average price point is around right now $450. Luxury side, luxury market starts at about $600. Highest price home to date, $940,000. Average income is about $75,000, $80,000 a year.
Okay.
And we're looking at an area that's been getting a lot more New York City people in the last year and a half, especially after COVID.
Okay.
A lot more people want to move out. They consider us the burbs. But we're densely populated, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Taxes are rather high. like a $480,000 home, your taxes are going to be about 14,000. We're part of Essex County, which encompasses Newark, New Jersey, and we're right next to Montclair, Bloomfield, Belleville, Clifton, North Arlington, Lyndhurst. Again, we're like 12 miles from New York City, so we get a lot of New York City commuters that live in the town as well.
I'm curious because what we've seen here, at least in San Diego, is huge spike in buyer demand till about August, September-ish of last year. Then it fell down a little after September, but then spiked right back up February, March, April, May. But I'm starting to see it soften a little bit now.
Yeah.
So are you seeing some of that in your market where instead of we were seeing 20, 30, 40 offers on every property, it sells in one day. We're still seeing things sell fast, but the amount of offers and multiple offers is slowly coming down. What do you see?
Here's my take on it. The last 2 months, we've seen a slowing a little bit. So instead of 14 offers, we would get 4 offers. But homes are still selling quick.
Right.
My prediction in the next decade or so, the forces that used to prop up the home prices in my area were the fact that we were geographically so close to New York City. Now, as within the last year or two, the whole telecommuting thing has become more acceptable. And companies are looking at that now as a cost savings and saying, hey, wait a minute, we don't need to lease this big office building anymore. We don't need to hire David in New Jersey for $100,000 a year. We could hire David in Idaho for $50,000 a year to do the same job.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that type of trend, which I don't think is going to end, it's just going to work its way through the system and become mainstay. I think it's going to decrease the values of the homes in the areas that I sell because of that.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking 10 years out now.
Right.
In 10 years out, I don't know who's going to be running my company, if it's going to be me or whatever. But that's what I'm seeing right now.
Okay.
That's what I'm seeing. But as for the short moment, people are still wanting to live in an area where they have a yard, a pool.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why I bought up north even further. Now I'm going towards upstate New York, where I have a pool and some breathing room, because I don't want to be stuck in my area, in my apartment, and look at 900 square feet. If we happen to get locked down again.
Right.
So a lot of people are thinking that way, but I think the remote world, we were heading that way, but COVID just kind of shortened the time span for that to happen.
Yeah.
Think about it. You're 3,000 miles away, Dave.
I know.
There's no reason why we can't work together.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I agree. And it's only going to accelerate. And I mean, you
Right.
hear it right now, all these hybrid, work, 2 days in the office, 3 days out, or even completely virtual. Look, I've been working for International completely virtual since I started, but there's moments where you travel together, you go and visit at the headquarters and you meet together. So it works. We know it works. And with technology, it just makes it so much easier. But we're going to see, I think it's definitely going to accelerate over the next 2, 3, 4 years.
That's the one thing I want to touch on. Like during COVID, me and my team, we were meeting every day at 10 a.m. via Zoom.
Yeah.
And then when it all loosened up a bit, I said, you know what? We're going to keep this. So we meet every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. And we discuss what's going on. I talk to every agent. We're more connected now than we were before.
Agree.
And that helps. Like Thursday, who's doing open house this weekend? Oh, I'll do one. Boom, boom. It helps. It helps to be connected with your office. For a lot of years, I worked silo when I worked at Coldwell Banker. I never went to the office. I worked from home, did my own thing. But now that I run an office, I like my office and my people to be all connected, because sometimes this person can't do a showing, but this person can. This person can't do an open house, but this person can. And then I talk to them about the marketing and everything that we're doing on a weekly basis,
I love it, Matthew. You're spot on with that. I mean, we're testimony of that. We've done these town halls, we've done these Zoom spotlights, and we're more engaged and plugged in with our network than ever before. I want to be mindful, guys. So let's do this. I'm going to just look at the chat really quick. I think we've kind of addressed all those so far. I just want to let's put the closing on this. Any last questions for Matthew or myself or the panel here? Any last thoughts? Let's kind of open it up for the last minute to see if anybody wants to chime in here. And Matthew, man, thank you so much for jumping on. I know it was kind of last second, but we made it happen.
It's all right.
We're being flexible, we're moving and adapting, so I appreciate you jumping on. So yeah,
I have a question.
Yes, Annie, go ahead.
Yeah, I heard, or Matthew was talking about when he posts on Facebook to keep the people interested about the real estate industry. You mentioned about getting literature. I mean, what do you Google stuff like the steps of buying a home? Remember, you were talking about.
If you want a very easy solution, it's another one of my go-to sites. It's called Keeping Current Matters.
Okay, hold on.
And they do a very good job of providing you not only with blog content, social content, video. And it also, they even give you a script every month, and they do a deep dive in the market on a macro level. So you can discuss and be that knowledge broker with your clients.
Where do I find that? I'm sorry, where do I find that?
KeepingCurrentMatters.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keeping Current Matters, good stuff. They even have some great YouTube. I think I forget the guy's name, but he does some great YouTube videos. Yeah. Another one on lab coat agents. Like there's some good stuff on there that just great information for agents in general. But that's a great YouTube channel as well.
There's an agent I made friends with. His name is Dustin Brome. He's out in your area. He's in Salt Lake City, Utah, actually. And he runs this thing called the Massive Agent Society. He has a great podcast. It's for free. I listened to it. And I actually, during COVID, what I did was I went and interviewed everybody I follow. So I was able to get all these people like Dustin Brome on an interview, Tom Ferry, a bunch of other people, you know, that were involved in the real estate community. It was pretty simple. I just went on Facebook and asked them to do it. And Dustin Brome runs, and he talks to all different industry people. And actually, one of the guys who used to work for Neil Matthew. Right. Yeah. I listened to his Agent Rise podcast also.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
He used to be a Realty Executives a person at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agent Neil Matthew.
Yep, that's it. He runs a good podcast.
Great guy. I love that guy.
There's so much out there you can do, but you know, you're going to get confused. But the big thing is consistency. You just got to be consistent. You know, got to be consistent. But Keeping Current Matters has a lot of good content, a lot of good information. And you can repurpose that stuff on your prime agent blog and hyper localize it with your content.
Okay, thank you guys.
Okay.
Thank you, Annie. Okay, well, I don't see any other questions coming in today. So, hey, Matthew, thanks again. Annie, thank you for joining the conversation. We always love to have a live dialogue. Until next time, guys, have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again soon. Take care, everyone.
All right, David, I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Matthew.
Thanks, David.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Matthew.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys.
All right, take care,
God bless
Alex.
you guys. Be safe.